Hey folks, Doc here. I think the summer that wouldn't end has finally ended. Sometime around May it became nuclear hot and it just bloody well stayed there for months. It was ridiculous. Needless to say, I'm way behind on household projects, shop projects, tractor projects, fixing this and that and the other thing. I got to do exhaust systems on pretty much everything I own, both the truck and the van and the car. And, I've been kind of remiss because it's just been too damn hot to do anything. I've been getting my butt kicked at work. I come home, I don't want to sweat some more. Needless to say, I think it's finally broken, and, here it is. Damn, it's almost October already. Holy crap. And haven't even done a romp yet. And it's just unfortunate. It kind of is what it is. But, hey, anyways, I did manage to get a little bit done on Boss Hoss here today. And I'm going to show you what I've got worked out on it, which just so happens to be a little bit of control. Stick around, I'll show you. Alright, so here's Boss Hoss pretty much as you remember seeing it, with the one notable exception that I've done the throttle controls on it. And I put a fair bit of thought into this, and although the usual standard fair answer is to connect a cable to a pedal of some description, I decided against that this time. And a couple of reasons behind that. Number one, I want this machine to be heavy duty, and a linkage to me seemed it was going to be little heavier duty than a cable. That was number one. Number two is, as you know from seeing the odd diesel project here and there, you need some sort of separate control on these particular single-cylinder diesel engines to get them to idle and then to shut them off. It's all done through the throttle control, so you need to come up with something special to accomplish that. Simply running a cable to a pedal in and of itself isn't quite going to do it, because that won't allow you to shut the engine off. So as you all well know, these single-cylinder diesels need some sort of special throttle arrangement in order to be able to have them idle and then shut them down. On the Diesel Weasel, you saw me address that in a special way because I needed a way of killing it, specifically for safety purposes, actually shutting down the engine, and having the ability to do that in a reliable manner. And on the Diesel Weasel, I use the compression release to do that, and then I just set the throttle to always be at an idle setting so that when you hit the gas pedal it brings you up to the high end, and then when you get off the pedal it goes back down and it sets on idle, and the only way to kill it is to hit the compression release, which is cool, and it worked. You guys know that Fearless Front rigged up his own little thing using two cables, and that was clever and that worked. I decided I didn't want a cable coming off my foot because it wasn't heavy duty enough, and I decided it didn't quite hit the nature of the build, which is just ultimate beast mode, right? So the dual cable thing is effective and it worked, but it's not what I wanted. And y'all know me, doing stuff my way is just, it's what I do. So let me show you what I did do. Okay. We'll start you off with the easy stuff first, and let me just point out that this spring here is probably going to be relocated. It's just a temporary thing, and all it did was allow me to set up my throttle setup and figure it out and have it working until I could locate the spring. Okay, so anyways, what we have here is a pedal off another wheel horse. Believe I sold the wheel horse this particular pedal came off of, but it's just another cast iron pedal off a wheel horse. And I thought it would be nice to have a gas pedal that, more or less matches the brake and clutch pedal on the other side. So anyways, yeah. So I've got the pedal mounted on, the original bar that it was mounted on. I shortened it because they were stupid long. And I've got a bit of tubing and a rod end and some more tubing and another rod end and a bell crank. I'll get back to that in a second. And another rod end and a bit of tubing, and yeah, that's a 15 millimeter socket. What? Let me get to the socket thing in a second. What the hell is a bell crank? I just used the word bell crank. Well, here's your little 2-minute instructional learn something watching one of Doc's videos. A bell crank is basically a device that is used to change a direction of pull or push to another direction of pull or push. So if you have a rod that's going this way and you're trying to steer with it going this way, you would use a bell crank. And all the bell crank is, it's an interesting pivoting little dealio that changes a direction of motion. Let me show you. Alright, so what does bell crank do? Well, that little triangular steel plate right there that I made from 3/16 steel plate is a bell crank. And what it does is it takes the motion of this rod, which goes back and forth because of the pedal, back and forth, and changes it to the up and down I require for the throttle control in the engine. How does it do that? Alright, well, let me get you all in here. And this rod here is the one that comes from the pedal. And this rod here is the one that goes up to the throttle and control in the engine. And here's the bell crank in action. As you can see, there's still a little bit of slop in the mechanism. I got to tighten stuff up, but I'm rushing to get this here video done. So you can see that this rod is going back and forth. That rod is going up and down. Alright. Bell cranks 101. So what you've seen is the foot half, the operating half of the throttle control on Boss Haas here. And it's really, really simple. It's just a pedal and a bell crank and a couple of rods and yada, yada, yada. Now, this is the other half of the equation. This little handle here that happens to say turn to lock. This connects to a cable that also connects to the throttle. And this will allow me to set the throttle and lock it. Just turn the camera here in any given position. So when I go to start the engine, I can pull this out and I can lock it. And the engine starts and I can set it to wherever I want the idle to be, and it won't shut off no matter what I do with my foot. Then when I'm ready to shut the whole thing down, I can unlock it, push it in, and it shuts down. I will show you. So let me just get you under the hood here. There's that twist lock throttle control thingy going to a cable. Nothing fancy going on there. It just twists and locks wherever you put it. And the cable goes over to here and into the throttle mechanism on the governor plate on the engine. And that's where it connects to that stop block there. Now, like I said, you've seen variants where this stop block is extended or added onto or re-drilled to add a second cable, and there's something up here to retain the cable, and you've got two cables kind of working in tandem. What I've got going on here is a little bit different. With my hand, I'm just going to move this thing so that you can see what's going on at this end. Unlock it, stupid. There you go. All right. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Right. Now, I'm just going to lock that at about halfway and pretend that's where the idle setting is. Now, I'm going to use the pedal, and you're going to see that 15mm socket go up and push the throttle the rest of the way from its set point to high. And all it does is it just bumps the cable up there, which hurts nothing. Okay, I'll rest that all the way down. There we go. And all that does is push the throttle up and down and allow me to set with my hand whatever position I want. And this just doesn't affect it. So if I've got this thing maxed out at high speed, my foot pedal actually does nothing. There it is. It's just dry humping. There's nothing going on because I'm already maxed out. But the nice thing is the foot doesn't interfere with what the hand is doing. And tuck to the hand, not the face. There we go. So we're just going to relax that again and pretend that this is the set point for idling. So it'll hold that position no matter what. And I get into it with my foot and speed the engine up, and I'm bombing around and go, 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 go. Let off the foot throttle, and it stays exactly where I left it because the hand control is locked in position. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the whole thing from a functional perspective. I'm going to bring this out and set it to a spot that I think is fair for idle. Doesn't matter. Once the thing starts, I can reset that. And I'm just going to get this thing ready to start. Set the compression relief and Alrighty folks, so that was my take on Boss Haas's throttle control. Also, how to, one particular means of setting up a throttle control on one of these single-cylinder air-cooled diesels. So I thank you for tuning in and watching that, and maybe it's inspired you, maybe it's given you a way of doing yours. Maybe you're just watching me for kicks and giggles, and I'm good with that too. So, thanks for tuning in to Sprocket's Garage on YouTube, and until next time, take care of yourself. This is going to be take friggin' 3. The kids are driving me insane. Anybody want to buy some kids? Really? In order to be able to this is pissing me off. Frickin' tree.